Shailene Woodley and Thomas Doherty are bringing unexpected romance to the apocalypse in Paradise Season 2, and their chemistry is just as electric off-screen as it is on-screen. When the two stars sat down with ET's Cassie DeLaura, they opened up about joining the Hulu sci-fi drama, bonding under pressure, and filming inside a surreal replica of Graceland. What unfolds in their conversation is a story not just about an apocalyptic world, but about trust, vulnerability, and creative connection. For Shailene Woodley, joining Paradise felt instinctive. She has long been drawn to layered, emotional storytelling, and the show's blend of sci-fi and human drama immediately stood out to her. The apocalyptic genre has always intrigued her, not just for the spectacle, but for the way it strips characters down to their rawest selves. In extreme circumstances, love, fear, survival, and hope are amplified. That's what makes Paradise different. It isn't just about the end of the world, it's about what remains when everything familiar disappears. Thomas Doherty, meanwhile, didn't hesitate when the opportunity came along. He had already watched and admired the first season of Paradise, and stepping into its world felt like a natural progression. Working alongside creative forces like Dan Fogelman, Sterling K. Brown, and Julianne Nicholson was another major draw. For Thomas, the chance to collaborate with such a respected team made the decision simple. He knew he wanted to be part of something that balanced emotional depth with high-stakes storytelling. The admiration between the co-stars is playful and genuine. Thomas jokingly admitted he is one of Shailene's biggest fans, even teasing about the existence of Instagram fan accounts like Shailene Woodley Brazil. His humor lightened the mood, but underneath the laughter was real respect. Shailene has built a career on performances that feel grounded and fearless, and Thomas clearly appreciates that authenticity. Their dynamic shows a mix of admiration and camaraderie that translates beautifully on screen. The world of Paradise is intense. The story places its characters in a bunker-like environment, cut off from normalcy and forced to confront their inner demons. When Shailene describes spending years in an underground bunker within the narrative, she leans into the surreal nature of it all. "It's like before, only creepier," she joked, highlighting how the show mirrors aspects of real-world uncertainty while amplifying them through fiction. That tension, but familiar made strange, is part of what makes the series resonate. Unlike many productions that allow weeks of rehearsal and bonding, Shailene had only 7 days between officially signing on to the project and beginning filming. There was no extended preparation period, no drawn-out table reads to gradually build comfort. Instead, she was thrown directly into the emotional deep end. Her first scene with Thomas was intense and intimate, requiring immediate vulnerability. It was a risk, but one that paid off. When actors don't have time to overthink, instincts often take over. For Shailene and Thomas, that meant leaning into trust. They had met briefly before, but not in a context that prepared them for the emotional weight of their scenes. So they made a choice to show up fully and meet each other halfway. Shailene describes it as giving her heart and being willing to receive his in return. That mutual openness laid the foundation for their chemistry. Thomas echoed that sentiment. In a show like Paradise, where relationships are tested by catastrophic circumstances, authenticity matters. Audiences can sense when intimacy feels forced versus when it feels earned. Because the two actors were navigating new territory together, their shared uncertainty actually strengthened their performances. It created a dynamic that felt real, two people clinging to connection in an unstable world. The entire cast of Paradise shares a similar bond. While there weren't formal bonding exercises like push-ups, something Sterling K. Brown famously did with the cast of This Is Us, there was still a sense of unity. In a story that revolves around survival, the actors had to rely on one another emotionally. That reliance naturally fostered closeness. Working under intense circumstances, both fictional and logistical, brought them together. Another surreal element of filming was the recreation of Graceland. The production built an exact replica, allowing the cast to shoot scenes inside a space that mirrored Elvis Presley's iconic home. For Shailene, who had never visited the real Graceland, stepping into the replica was both eerie and mesmerizing. It blurred the line between reality and artifice. She described it as surreal, inhabiting a place so meticulously recreated that it felt authentic, yet knowing it was constructed purely for storytelling. The use of such a recognizable setting adds depth to Paradise. Graceland represents nostalgia, legacy, and cultural memory. In an apocalyptic narrative, those themes take on new meaning. What do we hold on to when the world falls apart? What symbols of the past do we cling to? By placing characters in a replica of a legendary home, the show subtly underscores the fragility of history and the human desire to preserve it. Beyond the spectacle, though, the heart of Paradise remains its relationships. The romance between Shailene Woodley and Thomas Doherty's characters isn't conventional, it's forged in crisis. There's an urgency in every glance, every touch, every confession. That urgency comes not from melodrama, but from circumstance. When tomorrow isn't guaranteed, feelings intensify. Love becomes both a refuge and a risk. Shailene has always gravitated toward projects that explore emotional truth, from Big Little Lies to The Fault in Our Stars. In Paradise, she continues that tradition. Her character carries resilience and vulnerability in equal measure. Thomas complements her energy with a performance that balances charm and depth. Together, they create a dynamic that feels layered rather than simplistic. Thomas, at 25, brings youthful intensity to the role, but there's maturity in his approach. He understands that in a story about the end of the world, small gestures matter. A shared laugh, a moment of eye contact, a quiet confession, these details anchor the larger narrative. That grounding is what keeps Paradise from becoming purely spectacle-driven. The creative vision of Dan Fogelman plays a crucial role in shaping that balance. Known for emotionally resonant storytelling, he ensures that even within a sci-fi framework, character remains central. Shailene and Thomas both acknowledged how supportive the creative team was, even with the quick turnaround. That support allowed them to take risks and trust their instincts. In many ways, making Paradise mirrored the themes of the show itself. There was uncertainty, rapid change, and the need for connection. Shailene stepping into a major role with only a week's notice required adaptability. Thomas welcoming a new co-star into an already established ensemble required openness. Together, they navigated that transition the same way their characters navigate catastrophe, by leaning on each other. The result is a romance that feels earned rather than manufactured. Audiences tuning into Season 2 of Paradise on Hulu will see not just the spectacle of an apocalyptic world, but the intimacy of two people choosing connection despite chaos. That choice is what gives the story hope. As Shailene reflected on the experience, it was clear that the project meant more than just another acting credit. It was an opportunity to explore vulnerability under pressure. For Thomas, it was a chance to collaborate with artists he admires and to stretch himself creatively. Their laughter during the interview hints at the joy behind the intensity, proof that even stories about the end of the world can be filled with light. Ultimately, Paradise asks a timeless question. What does love look like when everything else falls away? Through the performances of Shailene Woodley and Thomas Doherty, the answer feels both fragile and powerful. In a bunker beneath a collapsing world, surrounded by replicas of cultural landmarks and the weight of survival, two characters find something undeniably human. And perhaps that's the magic of Paradise. Amid darkness, it finds romance. Amid destruction, it finds connection. And through the trust and chemistry of its stars, it reminds viewers that even at the edge of the apocalypse, the heart still beats strongest.
For full video, click related link below or like and subscribe this channel.